begin the process, it's important to point out a number of features. First of all, the patient is lying in a prone position with their feet hanging freely off the edge of the plinth. In addition, I'd like to point out some bony landmarks that are of relevance. The first of these is the fifth metatarsal head. You can find the fifth metatarsal head by slowly bringing your thumb along the shaft of the fifth metatarsal. You will feel a soft tissue until you come to a bony end feel, and this is the fifth metatarsal head. Sitting adjacent to this and slightly higher, you will find the fourth metatarsal head. These are important landmarks when we bring the foot into its neutral position, because we will need to hold the foot here. Common mistakes when casting are to bring your thumb proximal to the fourth and fifth metatarsal head, or else too far medially on the foot. If we do this, we will distort the cast. In addition, I have marked the lateral malleolus and I brought a line across it. We will need to keep the cast as high as this in order to have a deep cast. Shallow cast cannot be used in the PPL laboratory. In a similar fashion, I have marked the medial malleolus and I brought a line across it. This in turn will also give us the height of the medial aspect of the cast. The next stage of the casting process is to measure the specialist D on the patient's foot. Beginning at the fifth metatarsal, bring the roll around the back of the heel through to the first metatarsal. Once you've done this, double over the specialist D and cut it. Doubling over the specialist D will help to strengthen the cast. For the anterior section of the cast, begin at approximately 3 inches proximal to the fifth metatarsal head, bring it around the toes and finish about 3 inches proximal to the first metatarsal. Again, fold over the specialist D and cut the cast. Beginning with the back section of the cast and holding it on either end, pass it through the basin of water. From here, hold up and just work out the excess water out of the plaster. Again, taking either end of the plaster and having a good grip, pass it over the heel and through to the fifth and first metatarsals, making sure to keep the height, as we mentioned, both medially and laterally. From here, give the free end of the cast a cut with your scissors. This will help prevent any creases coming onto the heel section of the cast. Bring the medial section of your cast. You can tuck in the free end onto the heel and massage it into the foot, keeping as high as the medial aspect and just working out any air bubbles in the cast or creases. Then take your lateral aspect and bring it across the foot. Again, just work out any air bubbles or creases. Double check to make sure it's as high as the lateral malleolus, halfway across it, and as high as halfway across the medial malleolus. Once you have this completed, take the anterior section of the cast, again in either hand, and dip it into the basin of water. Work out the excess water. Hold the plaster at either end and bring over the toes. Just when you're bringing across, make sure you don't form any creases. Keeping its height both laterally and medially. Although not essential, we can tuck a free end under the creases of the toes. You'll also notice that I'm leaving a hang over the toes here, as opposed to cupping around the dorsum of the foot. From here, we bring the foot into its neutral position, holding across the fourth and fifth metatarsal heads not proximal or medially on the foot, but directly onto the 4th and 5th metatarsal heads. Begin to invert and evert the foot. Once we have the talar head of equal prominence, the median laterally, bring the forefoot onto the same transverse plane as the rear foot and hold here until the cast sets. In order to see if the cast is firmly set and hardened, take a pen and tap the cast. As you can hear, it has. In order to remove the cast, pinch the skin around the area and across the dorsum of the foot. This will help to separate the skin from the cast. Now slowly begin to wedge the cast back off the foot. Once you can see the plantar surface of the heel, slide the cast off the foot and we have the cast complete. A simple way of checking the cast is to check the arch of the cast against the arch of your foot, and as you can see, these closely replicate each other. Also, the level we've held the 4th and 5th metatarsal head is correct. Finally, remember to push out your thumbprint at the 4th and 5th metatarsal head. Also, you will notice that the anterior section of the cast hangs free from the edge of the toes and does not come back over the dorsum of the foot. In addition, as I make continuous reference throughout the procedure, the depth of the cast is sufficient to be used in the PPL laboratory. Shallow cast cannot be used here. Finally, write your patient's name on the edge of the cast, include your prescription form in a strong mailing box that will avoid crushing of the cast, and send it down to our offices at PPL.